Okay, welcome to another edition of Real Estate Investor Talk. Standing with me is Clem Sunter. Clem, you are a future scenario strategist, is that correct?
Yes, and I work for both clients here and overseas.
Fantastic. Clem is going to be one of our keynote speakers at the Build Your Wealth conference, which is going to be in Cape Town on the 11th of September at the Convention Centre and the 13th of September at the Santon Sun Hotel in Johannesburg. Clem, do you want to touch just very briefly a little bit what are you going to touch on that particular day, because the world is in a little bit of a distressed place right now.
Yeah, and it's very tough to make money at the moment. So what I'm going to touch on is how you have to adapt your strategies in light of the changed circumstances of possibly being in a fairly flat economic universe for maybe 5, 10, even 15 or 20 years, compared to the incredible boom that we had in the last century. How you have to adapt your strategy for investments, and particularly for property. And then obviously look at South Africa and the possibilities for South Africa. And one of the nice things about South Africa is we are part of the African continent, and that is the one continent that is expected to grow during these flat times because of the good demographics of the continent.
Fantastic. And we're also going to be touching a little bit on the entrepreneur, because obviously people are looking for solutions. Can you maybe touch on, will you be touching on that?
Well, we feel very strongly we need an economic codessa between government and business to look at how we can take the 15.5 million people on welfare in this country and turn them in, as many as we can, into entrepreneurs. Because I always quote Steve Biko. He said, handouts do not improve your self-esteem, doing it for yourself does. And what we want to do is to turn this country into an entrepreneurial society. Just like Nigeria now, which is achieving 7% economic growth because everybody in Nigeria wants to be an entrepreneur.
That's fantastic. Well, just once again, guys, the dates is the 11th of September to 13th of September, 11th in Cape Town, 13th in Johannesburg. Don't miss out on this. It's going to be a full-day workshop, kicking off with Clem, setting those scenarios, looking at those solutions. So if you want to book, go below and book right now for that. And Clem, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I intend to talk about at the conference is how the property game is changing and how you have to understand the new rules of the game in order to invest in property and also to lead a sustainable life. We look at flags, the flags that would indicate that the future is changing from one kind of future to another kind of future. We then try and assess the probabilities based on the flags, and then we look at the consequences for the industry based on which macroeconomic scenario is in play. So I'll be talking about the global economic scenario, particularly the prospect for hard times, a sort of flat economic universe over the next 5 to 10 years, but equally offering you the flags for a full recovery in the US economy. Then on South Africa, I'll talk about how we are in the Premier League of Nations and what the flags are for us to maintain that status of being in the Premier League. But equally, I'll talk about a possible slide into a second division scenario, and even worse, a failed state, and I'll also give you the flags for that. But what you will come out with is a much better idea of how to handle the incredibly uncertain future that we're in at the moment, and particularly how to make wise property decisions in light of that volatility.